You've enjoyed the fruits of power for the last 15 years. Now that the party is lost and you've lost power and you're nowhere near power, you're suddenly finding everything wrong with the Trinamool Congress. But I am really shocked at, I've been a journalist for 30 plus years, and even me, an experienced journalist, at the rapidity with which these people have switched. And these are long-time associates of Mamata Banerjee, loyalists of Mamata Banerjee.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for doing this. So my first question is, as a journalist, you've covered transitions for decades. If you were analyzing the TMC today from an editor's desk rather than an MP's seat, what would your headline be?
My headline would be the BJP's politics of Saam, Daam, Dandabhed. The kind of politics the BJP is playing at the moment, using force, using threats, using all kinds of agency pressure, false cases. You have seen the way in which opposition leaders are being paraded in Bengal. This is medievalism, a kind of medieval barbarism. Now, nobody is saying don't let the rule of law prevail. The rule of law must prevail against those who have done wrong. But, to parade people down the streets, to handcuff them, to tie them with ropes through their waist, to strip them down to their shorts, etc. I think this is medieval barbarism, which the BJP is doing. You know that Mr. Abhishek Banerjee himself was attacked with stones. If he hadn't been wearing a helmet, he may have been mortally injured. So the BJP is playing the kind of politics that we have never seen in Bengal, we have never seen in India. Opposition leaders have never been treated like this in Bengal. The left lost in 2011. The left leaders were treated with respect. They even came for Mamata Banerjee's swearing in. Buddhadev Bhattacharya was treated with respect. There was never a case where an opposition leader's home has been raided. This is unheard of in Bengal. That Mamata Banerjee was in Delhi to attend the India Bloc Alliance meeting and her home was raided. Abhishek Banerjee's home was raided. So, scores of Trinamool Congress workers have been attacked. They have been the target of violence. They have been, they had their homes have been attacked. So the political violence that the BJP is wreaking is unprecedented. They are also using the politics of as I said, Saam, Daam, Dandabhed, allurements of various kinds. I hear various offers are being made. I can't substantiate those, but I hear from very credible sources that very large offers are being made. So it's the politics of Saam, Daam, Dandabhed and the BJP's politics of misusing state power. So the misuse of state power by the BJP in Bengal is what we're seeing today.
So, your party is facing what is its biggest existential crisis since its inception. Nearly 20 Lok Sabha MPs and 60 MLAs have openly rebelled following the assembly election loss. You've previously called this the result of coercive state power by the BJP. But realistically, can an exodus of this scale be blamed entirely on external pressure? Or is there a fundamental breakdown of the internal democracy and communication within the TMC leadership?
I don't think there's anything wrong with the All India Trinamool Congress leadership at all. I think to some extent there is a ethical and moral deficit that all of these people are showing, all these people who have left. You see, if they had left before the elections, if they had actually said that, okay, we have ideological differences, we are leaving. If they had left before the elections, that would have been an act of, an act of weakness, but it would have been in a sense understandable because you're leaving before the elections. After a party has lost the election, then to suddenly realize that, I have problems with my voice being muzzled, I have problems with the leadership, I have this problem with Mamata Banerjee, I have that problem with Abhishek Banerjee. This to me shows a significant moral and ethical deficit that you didn't bring up any of these issues while the party was in power. You've enjoyed the fruits of power for the last 15 years. Now that the party is lost and you've lost power and you're nowhere near power, you're suddenly finding everything wrong with the Trinamool Congress. So the issue is, yes, there may be issues in a party organization. There always are, and we will certainly turn inwards. We will certainly introspect. We were in power in Bengal for 15 years. there may have been certain local level persons who were engaged in activities for which they need to be punished. That is all a question of party introspection, party discussion within party forums, dialogue within party forums. All of this could have been brought up within party forums, but suddenly to up and leave and join the BJP. Effectively, they are with the BJP now. They're all going to be with, they're going to vote with the BJP in Delhi. They're going to be with the BJP in the Rajya Sabha. They're going to be functioning as a proxy of the BJP in Bengal. So to suddenly go to the BJP, I think this makes a nonsense of the mandate. I mean, think about it. You're fighting elections. Voters are voting for you, saying that on your campaign where you are abusing the BJP, you are attacking the BJP, you are finding fault with the BJP, and that's why voters are voting for you. Voters are voting for you for that reason, right? It's an anti-BJP vote that they're giving you. And now they find that after elections, you have suddenly jumped and joined the BJP. So it is an insult to the voter. It is a betrayal of the voter. And I think illustrates a very shocking, astounding ethical deficit.
No, there's some of the names on this rebel list are people who used to swear by Mamata Banerjee and Abhishek Banerjee, and now suddenly,
I mean, I'm shocked. I am literally shocked. I'm 2 years in public life. I was a journalist. But I am really shocked at, I've been a journalist for 30 plus years, and even me, an experienced journalist, at the rapidity with which these people have switched. And these are long time associates of Mamata Banerjee, loyalists of Mamata Banerjee. They've been with Mamata Banerjee through thick and thin. They are themselves saying, that हमने मार खाया है, हम सड़क पे हमने विरोध किया है. So they have taken the blows and the police action along with Mamata Banerjee, and they today have done a 360-degree turn and have jumped over to the BJP and have left Mamata Banerjee. I find it shocking. I find it incredibly, I can't wrap my mind around it actually.
Especially like you said that the people have spoken about taking blows for Mamata Banerjee. One of the biggest names out there is Kakoli Ghosh Dostidar.
Right.
And and they are people looking to align with the NDA now. And the like people like Kakoli Ghosh Dostidar and Shatabdi Roy, Yusuf Pathan, they have been very vocal against the BJP. So what does this say about the ideological alignment within the party?
I'm not sure. I wouldn't like to comment on anyone personally. I don't know any of these people. They were in the Lok Sabha. I've had a passing acquaintance with them, so I really don't know what the trajectory is. I do know that they have been long-term loyalists of Mamata Banerjee, certainly. As far as ideology is concerned, yes, there is an ideology. The Trinamool stands for a certain grassroots welfareism, for the Mati Manush ideology, certainly for an ideology of pluralism. We are against the BJP's version of majoritarian rule, of the unconstitutional politics of hate, politics of religious division, politics of polarization. We are for pluralism, welfareism, and I would say the ideology of the Trinamool Congress is a kind of grassroots welfareism and a grassroots liberalism. Liberalism and pluralism, I would say. So that is an ideology. It's a very strong ideology, and the ideology has been uppermost in our fight against the BJP. We are continuously fighting against the BJP on the BJP's abuse of the constitution, on the BJP's use of religious hatred, on the BJP's tyranny, on the BJP's crackdown on democracy, on the BJP's crackdown on freedoms. So the entire range of unconstitutional, anti-democratic behavior that the BJP is engaging in, we have been fighting against that, and that is our ideology. So there is a very strong ideology, which is an anti-majoritarian, pro-constitution, pro-welfare, pro-grassroots ideology. This, and an ideology that is firmly against the politics of hate, and the politics of division, and the politics of polarization. So there is an ideological glue. I find it ideologically very powerful. I have joined public life because of ideology, because I want to strengthen the voice of the opposition against what I consider is a highly unconstitutional, anti-democratic force like the BJP. And that is the ideology of the Trinamool, and always has been, and is the ideology of Mamata Banerjee. She's a very strong, grassroots, welfare-oriented leader. I believe she's the last of India's great mass leaders. And so there is an ideological glue. So I think this, the comment that's being made that people are leaving because of lack of ideology, I don't think that's true, because there is a clear ideology of the party. I think these people are leaving because of the politics of Saam, Daam, Dandabhed that the BJP is doing, and also because of a certain sad moral and ethical deficit.
I'd like you to put on your journalistic hat once more. Do you, as a journalist and also somebody who has been associated with the party, do you think that the top leadership kind of misread their loyalty?
Possible. We're all shocked. I mean, everybody is shocked. I don't think anyone saw any of this coming. And I think there is an element of surprise, element of shock. I think particularly, the Shayoni, I would say, I mean, that is one thing that has shocked everybody. Because she was such a staunch, she was like an ideological torchbearer of the party. She was a very popular young star campaigner. So the departure of Shayoni, I think, has been shocking to everybody. I think everybody has been very shocked. It's been very shocking. I can't understand it, frankly, Debayon. I really can't understand why things are so bad in the party that these people have to up and leave. All the issues that they are bringing out, or whatever, you can't talk to the leadership, or there's this problem and there's that problem. You can raise it in the party forums. And we all had a meeting after the results. Many of us raised these issues. We had a meeting in Mamata Banerjee's home and we raised these issues. All of this can be raised within the party forum. So I really can't understand. I mean, I can understand it because I know the BJP is playing this kind of politics, and I see that there is clearly a there is clearly an ethical and moral deficit. But I certainly believe that all of these issues that these people are outwardly raising, I don't think these are the issues. Because these issues, if these were really the issues of, I'm being muzzled, my voice is not being heard, and X, Y, all of this could easily have been raised within the party. So these are not the issues.
So we'll move on from the topic of TMC to what happened in Baruipur. And, it has triggered massive public outrage. And while your party colleagues Mohammed Moitra and Shaukat Roy have strongly condemned the police encounter of the prime suspect as jungle law and like casualty of the rule of law, the state BJP and even local activists have welcomed it as swift justice. As a former journalist who's championed civil liberties, where do you draw the line between a broken legal system and condemning what the public views as immediate retribution for a heinous crime?
Extrajudicial killings, or killings outside the judicial process, or encounter killings are abhorrent in a constitutional democracy. Rule of law demands that whoever is the accused is brought to trial, is convicted on the basis of evidence, and is punished. This happened to with Ajmal Kasab, the terrorist, the Pakistani terrorist. He was caught, brought to trial, convicted, and punished. So that is the rule of law. The encounter killing that has taken place is unacceptable. It is barbaric. It is against the rule of law. It is this encounter Raj of UP has come to Bengal. This summary executions on the streets by police. This is unacceptable in a constitutional democracy. It is loathsome. It is abhorrent. And on top of the other issue is, on top of all of this, is the person killed was also a witness. So you've effectively bumped off a witness. Now, summary executions on the street, summary justice on the street, summary killings of people on the street. I know the Bengali media has been, hyping this up and hailing it as a sort of strong law and order. It is emphatically not. It is a breakdown of law and order. It shows weakness of law and order. It shows weakness of policing. It shows weakness of investigation. What is investigation and policing? You have to gather evidence, you have to bring that evidence, you have to then proceed on evidence and then convict the person. But this kind of summary street execution is it's a catastrophe. It's a catastrophic breakdown of law and order. And I also feel that this is this encounter Raj mentality of North India, particularly of Uttar Pradesh, which is being brought to Bengal. You saw during the election campaign there was that Singham cop who was taking reels of himself and showing himself off as some Singham, and that again, it's unheard of in Bengal. You don't have police officers making reels of themselves and pretending to be some Bollywood hero. Some trigger happy cop. There was another poster of another policeman, a Bengali policeman, who was posing with a gun. So what is this gun culture and this culture of violence that the police is adopting? My father was a West Bengal cadre IAS officer. Of course, he's retired for many years now, and he used to always tell me that one of the best police forces in Bengal is the Kolkata police. It's a very professional, very law-abiding, very thorough, very very efficient police force. Now, it really saddens me if the police force in Bengal and the Kolkata police has a stellar reputation. Not so much the West Bengal police, the Kolkata police.
Yes.
If you see the way they manage Durga Puja, the way they manage political rallies, the way they manage mass crowd movement, the Kolkata police is a crack police. And to see this kind of behavior of police, where you're engaging in encounter killing, somebody posing as a Singham, somebody posing with guns, this is unheard of in Bengal, and it shows a catastrophic breakdown of law and order.
Obviously a lot of people are comparing this to the RG court case, but there is also a stark difference in terms of how
where are the candlelight marches? Where are the protests? Where are the citizens' movement? Is it because the RG Kaur the RG Kaur victim, Abhaya, was a middle class woman from a Bhadralok family, and the victim in the Baruipur is a young rural village girl? Is that the reason? Because the two are equally shocking, and let's face it, in the RG Kaur case, heinous case, terrible case, terrifying case. We were all outraged, anguished with that case. But the Kolkata police has caught the culprit, and the CBI has endorsed that culprit, that yes, this is the culprit. And the Kolkata police caught the culprit in 24 hours. There has been nothing to suggest that even the CBI has been part of the investigation. The CBI has not said that no, this is not the culprit or it's the wrong person has been caught. The CBI has said that this is the person, the accused who is now in custody. So, we didn't see encounter killings during the RG Kaur investigation. We didn't see Singham cops flaunting guns. In fact, the chief minister, Mamata Banerjee, the then chief minister, called for a CBI inquiry. She said, please bring the CBI, let the CBI investigate. We then passed a very hard-hitting law, the Aparajita bill, which was unanimously passed in the Bengal Assembly, providing for strict punishment of those accused of crimes against women. That bill, of course, has not been passed. It's still lying with the president. So I think there has to be an appreciation also of the media role, the way the media acted during the RG Kaur incident and the way the media is acting now. The media now, the Bangla media, which I've been watching, is hailing this encounter killing. But during RG Kaur, there were, this shrill cry was that the chief minister should step down. This was this is a flaw, a fault, and with the government, it's a fault with the establishment. It's the fault of Mamata Banerjee. She should step down. When in fact she was continuously in touch with the family, the parents. She was continuously in touch with the striking doctors. I think the media narrative, which of course the BJP is very adept at managing, the media narrative during RG Kaur and the media narrative during Baruipur has been starkly different. In fact, the media narrative against Mamata Banerjee has been so unfair. And it happens to women politicians a lot. It constantly happens to women politicians. Whether it's a Sonia Gandhi, whether it's a Mayawati, whether it's Mamata Banerjee, whether it's a Jayalalitha, this constant shrill, hysterical caricaturing of the person, what she's looking like, what she's wearing, rather than what she's saying, how she is, the caricaturing of women politicians. The sort of send up of women politicians that the media does, and a lot of women journalists do it themselves to other women politicians. I find that shocking. Is terribly sad. It's very anti-democratic. Rather than celebrate a woman leader, Mamata Banerjee is a remarkable woman leader. She's, I've said this many times in many interviews, that we use the phrase female accession to male martyrdom to describe the South Asian brand of women coming into public life, that a powerful male dies and a woman steps into his shoes. Benazir Bhutto, Sirimavo Bandaranaike, Indira Gandhi, Sheikh Hasina, the powerful male passes away and the woman inherits as his daughter or his wife, his martyrdom. Only one woman in South Asia, in all of South Asia, has not inherited the martyrdom of a dead male, and that is Mamata Banerjee. Even Mayawati had Kanshiram as a mentor. Jayalalitha had MGR. She doesn't have a single male mentor. She had nothing. She had no organization. Modi has a big RSS organization which has buoyed him up and which has built his personality cult. But I think Mamata Banerjee is a much more remarkable politician than even Narendra Modi, because she had nothing. She had no organization, no family background, no powerful male to be her mentor. She just had her own fighting spirit. And she struggled on the streets to build her organization, built a party, took it to victory, won 3 elections in a row, became chief minister 3 times, became a member of parliament 7 times, became a union minister several times, all on the strength of her own struggle. And now that I'm in public life, in politics, in parliament, I see how intensely patriarchal and misogynistic politics is. It's intensely misogynistic, intensely patriarchal. Women are judged all the time. And there are attempts made to sideline women, to caricature women, to imprison them in what I call the Zanana Dabba, or the ladies' compartment. So in this scenario, in this kind of highly misogynistic patriarchal public life, for a woman to not only create her own political startup, but take that startup to success after success after success, is remarkable. It's a remarkable story. Even if I was as a journalist, I find it a remarkable story. As an observer, I find it a remarkable story. So I think that, and for the media to ignore all of this and simply focus on caricaturing and attacking Mamata Banerjee, the Godi media that is, I think is to do a terrible disservice not only to her but to Indian democracy. Indian democracy has the proud achievement of creating a leader like Mamata Banerjee. We have our democracy has thrown up for the first time in the history of South Asian democracy a plebeian woman leader without a male crutch, without a male ancestor. We should celebrate this, not mock it.
What is your personal reading on why the TMC lost the mandate this time around?
We have been in power for 15 years. There is anti-incumbency. There was, no doubt. And certainly there is always a natural amount of issues you may have with the government in power, which has been there for a long time, which is, 15 years is, Bidhan Roy's tenure was 15 years. So there was bound to be anti-incumbency. We were bound to take some sort of a setback. I myself thought that would be the case, that our margin would come down, but we would win. But the manner in which the election was rigged, according to me, this is a blot on Indian democracy. To me, this was not a free and fair election. Maybe we would have lost in a free and fair election. Maybe the anti-incumbency was so high that in a free and fair election, we would have lost. But it's one thing to lose in a free and fair election. It's another thing when you have a rigged result of this kind. This result is a rigged result.
And the last question, mostly about Parliament. Now that the TMC is no longer in power in West Bengal, does your strategy in Parliament shift?
We will certainly work very closely with the India opposition. The India Alliance is now very closely coordinating parliamentary efforts and efforts on the ground. We are a very strong alliance. We have had a meeting, as you know, of the India Alliance. It was held on very shortly after the results. And the message of that alliance was strong coordination, strong partnership, strong bonds between all the India Alliance allies. And in Parliament, we will continue to take the BJP government on head on, raising people's issues and raising issues of civil liberties in partnership with our India allies.
Thank you so much, ma'am.